Hey guys, welcome and welcome back. My name is Raquel, and today I'm going to do my very first mid season book tag. So, the book tag is 13 questions. I'm going to answer those 13 questions. So, let's go ahead and get started. The first question is the best book. So I have gotten into thrillers a bit, and so I have two answers for this one question. So for thrillers, it's going to be S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed. In actuality, I could pick all four of his books, like Blacktop Wasteland, The Darkest Prayer, or even Razor Blade Tears. But I chose All the Sinners Bleed, but they're all great books, and I would choose any one of them for the best thriller. However, for the romance, this could be Us by Kennedy Ryan. That book was so good. Like at the end of the book, I literally had to take a break for a couple of days, like just to sit back and think about it. She had some of everything in the book. She had families, she had children that were on the autism spectrum. She had an ex husband. She got a new lover. Like, there was a lot going on. And as I said in my video, if you want to go back and look at it, there's a video about This Could Be Us. But I have been in Soledad's shoes before. That could be a very hard place to be. Not only a hard place to be, but even harder to get out of. And not only did Soledad get out, but she thrived. And I so admired that. So the book was awesome. I loved it. And it would be the best book I've read so far this year. So the second question is the best series. So I'm going to pick a series by Nia Forster, and the two books are called, I don't know the name of the series, but the two books are called Jane Doe Black and Reversible Errors. So this was, I believe, a thriller. She normally writes romance, but I believe this was a thriller about a two sisters, and one of the sisters wound up being murdered. And so it was really good. It was something that I did not expect from her, but I was not disappointed at all. So the third one is a new book release that I have not read, and that too would be Nia Forrester. So she had a new series come out called Secrets. I downloaded the books, got sidetracked, started reading something else, and forgot all about it. So it's only just recently that I realized that I skipped over it. So I'm gonna go back. That's gonna be upcoming for me, and I'm really excited about it because I do enjoy her books. The next question is anticipated release. So I am anticipating a release by Quan called False Idols. He is another one of my favorites. I enjoy his books so much, and I have been waiting for this book for a few months now. Well, maybe yeah, maybe about 2 months. So I'm really excited. I think it comes out July 21st, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then the biggest disappointment, which is the next question. So the biggest disappointment I had was the book Adversity for Sale by Jeezy. So Jeezy's been in the news here lately, and I've heard a lot of stuff about him. So I figured if I read his book, maybe I could get a better understanding of who he is. Just nosy, basically, really. Anyways, I was disappointed. I was super disappointed. The book, I felt like he wrote it from where his current position is. It starts out as a child and he goes through these situations, but I didn't feel like he spoke, or I didn't feel like the parts of him at younger ages and different times in his life, that he was in that space and he spoke from that space. I felt like it was spoken from his current position, where he was speaking on the past, and I did not resonate with that. I was super disappointed because I do like biographies, but this one just wasn't my thing, and I'm not a Jeezy fan. I don't know anything about him. I don't know his music. If I heard it right now, like, I literally would not know it was him. I might know the music, but I don't know it's him. So, you know, it is what it is. The next question is the biggest surprise. So, the biggest surprise was I read Burning Season by Kiki Swenson. So, I was into Kiki Swenson years ago, many years ago, when she was writing her Wifey series. So, if you know, you know. It's a really good series. It is urban fiction. Burning Season is actually a thriller. And so I was pleasantly surprised that she is still a great author, and she just smoothly went from urban fiction into thriller, and it worked out great. Actually, I read a couple of her books that are thrillers after reading so many of her urban fiction books, and I was pleasantly surprised. The next question is my favorite author. My favorite author at this point would have to be Lady Nisha. I tell you, if this lady was not an author, she could be a comedian. Her books are so hilarious. Like, throughout the books, I am sitting there laughing. I've read a few of her books. They all have great stories, but they're hilarious. They are so funny. So, right now, Lady Nisha's taking number one spot. So, the next question is fictional crush. So I did like the character from Blacktop Wasteland. He was a car buff, and I really liked his character. He was strong. He was about his business. He did not take no mess, and he took care of his wife. And she knew who he was. He wasn't holding back. She knew him as a person. So I appreciated that about his characters. My new favorite character. So my new favorite character would be Soledad from This Could Be Us. Soledad was resilient. She made something out of nothing. She took what she already knew and made an entire life for her and her children. And I so admire that. Just her entire journey. And the next question is what book made me cry? So the book that made me cry was Take My Hand by Dolan Valdez Perkins. So, this book was about a nurse who worked for a facility who was not partial to people of color, black people, African American, whatever you want to call it. And so she had harmed some children based on the rules and guidelines she were given at this facility. And once she realized that she had done that, she made it right. Well, not made it right in the sense that she could take it back, but she was remorseful, and she did literally everything she could to help these children, not only these two children, but their entire family. And I admired the fact that she stuck in there with them and helped them, because they were in a pretty bad place, and she helped them as much as she could, even to the detriment of her own livelihood. So, what book made me happy? American Queen by Vanessa Miller made me happy. This book was set way back in the day, and there was a family, and they were emancipated. They went off to make a new life for themselves, and they eventually got to a place where they were able to make a new life for themselves. But along the way, they brought other families with them. They were able to build an entire community that was for them. They allowed other people to come in. They had a whole system. So they were able to build a new life for not only for themselves but for their entire community, where they were happy, everybody was able to pitch in, and they were connected. I love that story, and the fact that it was a true story really just put the icing on it for me. And the next question is the most beautiful book, which would have been Hurricane Summer. So Hurricane Summer is about uh, two sisters who go to visit their father in Jamaica for the summer. And they get there and they have these experiences. But what was so beautiful about the book to me was the description. The author was able to describe this tale so vividly that I felt like I could have been there. It was just beautiful. I loved it. The next question is actually our last question, and it's the books I want to read for the end of the year. So I don't have a lot of books I want to read for at by the end of the year. I do have a few, and I'm going to share that with you. So I am wanting to read Carried Away and Treacherous Twins, which is a series by Natisha Rayner. The Secret series, Nia Forrester, which is something I talked about a little earlier in the video. Wrecked by Nina, which is a part of, I believe, On Us series. One of the brothers' name was Wrecked, so I'm kind of thinking that this is his story. Rapture by King Benjamin. False Idols by Quan. And those are the books that right now I can probably foresee myself reading. Anything other than that is probably going to be something I pick up from one of my favorite authors dropping a book, or just something I find interesting. I'm more of a mood reader, so I can say I'm going to read something, but if I'm not in the mood, I'm going to switch over to something else. But here's a couple of authors that I do really want to get into. I've never read any of their work, but I've heard some great things about them. So, Meldau, or Meldau, Meldau, A.E. Valdez. I'm really looking forward to reading Worthy, but I've heard a lot of great things about that particular book. And Elle Kaysen. I want to read some of her work. I do not want to read Demon's Dream, although I hear it's an awesome book. Like, this book has been going on for months. It is literally still in the Kindle Top 100. So I don't doubt that it's a great book. I just don't really think I have the capacity for a 500 plus book. Now, if I read some of Elle Kaysen and it's so good that it prompts me to read Demon's Dream, then I guess I'll do that. But at this point where I stand, 500 plus pages is a bit much for me. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think I said Miss Jenna Sequa, her Evans series, which I've started it. The first book, I'm about 50% through, got a little sidetracked, wound up going to read a different book and never got back to it. But the 50% that I did read was really good, so I am definitely going to go back to that and finish that. It is 4 books, Jacil and some other people's names. But I'm definitely looking forward to those. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, see you soon.